On the third day after I was framed by that green tea male supporting character, and kicked out of the house with nothing, my 11-year-old wife finally realized that the one who stayed up late making business plans for her was me, not that scheming guy who only knows how to whine. But I never expected that my regretful wife would actually be reborn. But the plot seems to have a serious problem. Not only did she not divorce me, but the first time she saw me, she hugged my leg and called me daddy. Bang! The 3 million yuan Ming Dynasty blue and white porcelain shattered at my feet. Lin Bai fell among the pieces of porcelain. He deliberately cut the back of his hand with a shard. Blood immediately seeped out. Why did you push me? I know you're jealous that Sister Ruyan is nigh to me, but you can't just smash Uncle Lu's favorite antique. Lin Bai's eyes reddened, and tears fell on cue. With that delicate act, not winning an Oscar is a huge loss for the film industry. I looked at him, full of question marks, standing a full 2 meters away from me. Dude, even for a scam, you need basic physics. Can you hit from a distance? Or do I know the Kamehameha? Before I could even start to complain, the crisp sound of high heels on the floor came from the entrance. Lu Ruyan was back, dressed in a high-end black business suit, wearing 8 centimeters red-soled high heels. That breathtakingly beautiful face was frozen in its usual ice. Ever since I married into the Lu family, I've never seen her smile at me. When Lin Bai saw Lu Ruyan, it was like a husky seeing a bone. He scrambled over, grabbed her suit sleeve, and started acting spoiled. Sister Ruyan, you're finally back. Boo-hoo, look, he not only pushed me, but he also smashed the antique my dad gave Uncle Lu. So cruel. Sure enough, when Lu Ruyan saw Lin Bai's injury, and then looked at the pieces on the floor, her expression suddenly changed. Oh no, I thought, following the usual cliché plot, next would be a torrent of scolding, plus making me kneel on a washboard to apologize. I was even ready to be kicked out. Then, Lu Ruyan pushed away Lin Bai, who was pulling her sleeve. Lin Bai clearly didn't react in time. He stumbled from her push, and fell back into the pile of porcelain. He yelped in pain. He wanted to lose his temper, but seeing Lu Ruyan storming toward me, he immediately put on a smug, green tea face. My father-in-law, Old Master Lu, who was watching, also snorted coldly, stomping his cane loudly on the floor, ready to laugh at me. But just as Lu Ruyan reached me, and raised her hand, she suddenly grabbed me by the neck, and pressed my head hard into her chest, which smelled of expensive perfume. Good, you weren't hit by the porcelain. Good. Lu Ruyan's usually cold, peach blossom eyes actually glistened with tears. Her voice trembled with a sense of relief after a narrow escape. I was almost suffocated. A huge question mark slowly appeared on my forehead. Sis, have you been possessed? Aren't you here to avenge your precious green tea brother? While I was rolling my eyes from being choked, Lu Ruyan suddenly let me go, grabbed my hands, and turned them over and over with great concern, muttering, "Are you stupid? Are all the security guards here just for show? Did you have to stand here yourself, watching him smash things and getting scared? Do you need me to call a helicopter to take you to the hospital?" This scene stunned not only Lin Bai, but even the experienced Old Master Lu. His dentures almost fell out. This she to redirection is simply ridiculous. It's lie absurdity opening the door for absurdity. The script said Lu Ruyan was a severe brother con, spoiling Lin Bai, the younger brother from a family friend, to the skies. Now why is she suddenly caring about me, her nominal husband? Lin Bai watched this, his face green with jealousy, his expression twisted like a moldy bitter gourd. Why didn't this freeloading son-in-law get scolded, but instead got a hug from Sister Ruyan? No, Sister Ruyan was his last cash cow. He couldn't let her go easily. I'm Xiao Bai. Didn't you text me yesterday, saying you'd bring me a limited edition bag today? Lin Bai screamed hysterically, trying to wake Lu Ruyan up. Lu Ruyan frowned, turned around sharply to stare at him, her eyes full of piercing cold. What's all the noise? Did all that money I spent on your lessons go to waste? Yelling lie that, what kind of image is that? After Lu Ruyan scolded him, Lin Bai took a deep breath, feeling like all his meridians had been unblocked. He had been reborn. Even he couldn't believe it. After experiencing the Lu family's bankruptcy, being homeless, having Lin Bai take his last lifeline, and finally relying on me, who never left her and supported her by picking up trash. She had actually been reborn to 3 years ago. This was heaven giving her a chance to make up for her debt to this amazing husband in her past life. In this life, she would not only lot me well, but also trample on everyone who had bullied me. Lin Bai, after being publicly scolded by her, widened his eyes in disbelief, his eyes instantly filling with aggrieved tears. Sister Ruyan, he pushed me. He started it. Lin Bai knew clearly that if he showed those pitiful puppy dog eyes, Lu Ruyan would immediately feel sorry for him, and then blame everything on me. But this time, his plan backfired. Old Master Lu watched Lu Ruyan's cold expression, which didn't soften at all. Instead, she let out a cold laugh. My husband is so gentle and kind. He even chants a mantra when stepping on an ant. He would never push someone for no reason. It must be that your face is too punchable, and you provoked him. Damn. I thought to myself, when did I ever chant a mantra? I killed a cockroach with my slipper yesterday. Lu Ruyan's aura was fully unleashed, throwing out 11 IO quotes effortlessly. No one in the room dared to argue. Boo-hoo, you're all bullying me. I hate you all. No matter how green tea Linbai was, he still had thin skin. Being called punchable in front of all the servants, he felt his face was lost to the Pacific. He stomped his foot, covered his face, and ran out the door. I silently tried to pull my hand out of Lu Ruyan's warm palm, but she held on tight, her palm slightly sweaty. I tried 3 times, but it didn't budge. Babe, aren't you going to chase your little brother Xiaobai? I asked tentatively. At this point, Lu Ruyan had instantly changed her expression, putting on a gentle look that could melt water. Where was the fierce demon just now? She looked at me with deep affection, and even stood on tiptoe to ruffle my hair. Good, don't be afraid. Your wife will always be on your side to protect you. From now on, whoever dares to mess with you, I'll plant them in the backyard as fertilizer. This is too weird. This is definitely not my ice-cold wife. Before I could react, I saw old Master Lu finally couldn't hold it in anymore. He pounded the floor with his cane, and shouted angrily, Ruyan, have you lost your mind? Treating your Uncle Lin's son like this for an outsider? I'm telling you now, Linbai must join the company as vice president. As for him, he pointed at me, get him out of the Lu family immediately. Lu Ruyan turned around, looked at her father calmly, and a mocking smile curled at the corner of her mouth. Dad, are you senile? The company is mine. I decide who comes in. As for making my husband leave, Lu Ruyan suddenly pulled a document with a red stamp from her Hermes bag, and slapped it on the coffee table. Take a good look. Just yesterday, I transferred 51% of the Lu Group's shares to my husband for Fry. Now he's the biggest bot of the Lu family. Looking at that black and white SE transfer document, old Master Lu's eyes rolled back, and he almost fainted, and I was so shocked my jaw nearly dropped. Just then, Lu Ruyan suddenly leaned close to my ear, and whispered in a voice only we could hear, a secret that made my scalp tingle. Hubby, I know you're actually the true young master of the capital's richest family, who was lost outside. In the past life, you gave up billions for me. In this life, let me use the entire Lu family to support you. Oku. Lu Ruyan's warm breath lingered in my ear. I stood frozen like I'd been struck by lightning. Wait, my identity as the true young master of the capital's richest family, hidden for 3 years. Even I almost forgot about it. How did she know? Does rebirth come with a 6 AI pie cheat that opens a third eye? Before I could digest this mind-blowing secret, old Master Lu on the sofa was clutching his chest, unable to catch his breath, and fell straight back, unconscious. Lu Ruyan called out symbolically, then turned to the bodyguards. Quick, take my dad to the hospital, and book him a neurology appointment. I think he's been tainted by green tea. The old man was carried out by the bodyguards, his fingers still twitching as he left. I thought the farce was over, but just 3 hours later, in the top floor meeting room of the Lu Group, an even more absurd coup unfolded. I had just reached the meeting room door, when I heard old Master Lu's vigorous roar inside. Looks like the quick-acting heart pills worked well. Lu Ruyan, how dare you hide from the board, and privately transfer 51% of the shares to that? You're gambling with the entire Lu family's foundation. I've called this emergency board meeting to remove you from your 11th IO position. You're not fit to sit in that seat. I raised an eyebrow, and looked through the half-open glass door. The long table was filled with Lu Group shareholders, all whispering with serious expressions, and Lu Ruyan, in a black trench coat, sat at the head, casually holding an expensive pen, looking at old Master Lu on the 6DO call. He was an idiot. Just then, the other double doors of the meeting room were pushed open arrogantly. Linbai walked in, dressed in a suit. His hair was slicked back so shiny that a fly would slip and fall. Behind him were 4 black-suited bodyguards with sunglasses, making an entrance bigger than a Hollywood star. Uncle Lu, don't be angry. Sister Ruyan is just bewitched by that freeloader. Linbai gave a cold, crooked smile like a war god, and strode to the meeting table. But it's okay. I'm here today to save the Lu family. He snapped his fingers, and his assistant immediately slammed a thick document onto the table. Sister Ruyan, take a look. This is a 100 billion overseas capital injection agreement. If you sign it, the money will arrive immediately. It won't only solve the Lu family's current cash flow crisis, but also double the company's market value. As soon as he said this, the room buzzed. 100 billion. That's life-saving money. Young Master Lin is truly talented. Compared to that Su Qing, who only does housework, he's 1,000 times better. 11 IO Lu, sign it quickly. Facing the shareholders' urging and Lin Bai's provocation, Lu Ruyan didn't even lift her eyelids. She coldly uttered 2 words. Conditions. Sister Ruyan is indeed a smart person. Lin Bai stood up straight. adjusted his tie, a hint of venom flashing in his eyes. The conditions are simple. First, hand over absolute control of the Lu group. Second, immediately divorce that waste Su Qing, and kick him out of Jiang City with nothing. Hearing this, I couldn't take it anymore. Dude, if I don't show my power, you think I'm Hello Kitty? A green tea guy who borrows high-interest loans to pretend to be a big shot and dares to tell me to get lost? I kicked open the meeting room door and strode in. Oh, who's making such big claims here? It's young Master Lin, who just tried to scam me at home this morning. I looked at him with a half-smile. What? The cut on your hand healed? No need for amputation? Su Qing, who do you think you are? Do you have the right to speak here? Lin Bai jumped up like a cat with its tail stepped on and pointed at me, cursing. You're just a freeloading son-in-law. Besides washing and cooking, what can you do? Now I have 100 billion in my hands. What can you do against me? Security. Where's security? Get this nobody out of here. Old Master Lu on the 6DO also started roaring. The whole room fell silent. All eyes were on me, some mocking, some pitying, mostly just waiting for the show. Just as the security guards were about to grab me, who dares to touch him? Lu Ruyan, who had been silent, suddenly stood up. She grabbed the so-called 100 billion investment agreement, without even looking at it, and tore it in half in front of everyone. Rip. Tear. The sound of paper tearing was especially sharp in the quiet room. Lu Ruyan threw the shreds unceremoniously into Lin Bai's face. Sister Ruyan, have you lost your mind? Lin Bai, hit by the paper, widened his eyes in disbelief. That's 100 billion. Without this money, the Lu family will go bankrupt next month. Let it go bankrupt. I don't care. Lu Ruyan tossed her hair back dominantly, then walked straight to me. Under the stunned gaze of all the shareholders, she grabbed my neck and sat down in my lap. Her cold, expensive perfume instantly surrounded me. I instinctively held her waist, feeling how impossibly soft it was. Babe, what are you doing? I asked quietly, but I couldn't stop the corners of my mouth from rising. Lu Ruyan didn't answer me. Instead, she leaned her head on my shoulder, lifted her stunning peach blossom eyes, and looked around the room. I quit as 11IO. This crappy company, whoever wants to run it can run it. Her crisp voice echoed in the meeting room, with an unyielding finality. Anyway, I've already transferred all my shares to Su Qing. From today on, I'll just focus on being beautiful, and my husband will make the money. Crazy. Completely crazy. The shareholders gasped. Old Master Lu on the 6DO was so angry he cut the connection. Lin Bai's face had turned purple. He stared at me and Lu Ruyan, his hands clenched at his sides, cracking. He couldn't understand why, after awakening his past life memories, and finally securing this huge sum to turn things around, Lu Ruyan wouldn't even look at it. Why? Why would this woman choose a useless waste over him, the savior with 100 billion? Fine, Lu Ruyan, you've got guts. Lin Bai laughed in anger, his face twisted like a venomous snake. Do you really think you can lie peacefully? Do you think I came here today with just this? He stepped closer, lowering his voice, so only the three of us could hear, and said word by word. I've already gotten the new energy formula from the Lu Group's core tech department. I'll give you 3 days. In 3 days, I'll hold a press conference and turn the Lu family's new energy project into worthless paper. Then I'll make you, Lu Ruyan, kneel and beg me. With that, he turned sharply and stormed out with his 4 bodyguards, slamming the door. The meeting room was dead silent. I watched Lin Bai's retreating figure and couldn't help but sneer inwardly. New energy formula? He probably doesn't know that the so-called core formula is actually a defective product I casually typed out 3 days ago while staying up late to write a business plan. I looked down at Lu Ruyan, still holding me tightly, and pinched her fair cheek. Babe, someone says we'll be begging in 3 days. Are you scared? Lu Ruyan looked up, her once cold eyes now full of sly light. She leaned close to my ear and gently bit my earlobe. What's there to be afraid of? My husband is the true young master of the capital's richest family. If we really go bankrupt, you can just take me back to the capital to inherit billions. Hearing Lu Ruyan's words, my head was buzzing. 800 ducks were square dancing in there. Wait, I hid this so deeply, even pretending to be a waste, only playing support in King of Glory. How did she see through my disguise? But looking at her peach blossom eyes, full of dependence and cunning, I swallowed, forced down my SOC, and ruffled her hair. Alright, if we really go bankrupt, I'll support you. But for now, let's go home first, and see how young Master Lin wants to play this. For the next 3 days, Lu Ruyan kept her promise to just be beautiful. She didn't even go to the company, staying home with me every day playing games and watching movies, turning an ice-cold female 11IO into a heavy internet-addicted girl. On the other hand, Lin Bai wasn't idle. Not only did he announce the founding of Bai Xing Technology, but he also plastered ads everywhere online, claiming that at his press conference in 3 days, he would launch a revolutionary new energy infrastructure system. Even more absurdly, rumors in the industry said that to develop this product, he had recklessly leveraged and borrowed a full 100 billion in high-interest loans. Late at night, under the cover of darkness, listening to Lu Ruyan's steady breathing in the bedroom, I quietly slipped out of bed and into the study. I didn't turn on the light. Only the computer screen glowed with a faint blue light, reflecting the slightly mocking smile on my lips. Lin Bai, Lin Bai. Do you think that so-called core code, which you spent a fortune to bribe a Lu Group executive to steal, is some kind of ultimate martial arts secret? It's just a bunch of electronic garbage I casually typed out a few days ago to fend off old Master Lu, laced with Trojan viruses. I skillfully opened a hidden partition, my fingers flying over the keyboard, leaving a crisp, faint afterimage. 3 seconds later, the screen switched, and a pure black interface appeared. In the center was only a blood-red inverted cross. Dark web locked in, identity confirmed. Global top hacker, 0. For the past 3 years, to maintain my freeloader persona, I hadn't used this alias, which made global cybersecurity agencies tremble. Let me see where you, thieving cat, are hiding your mouse. Following the backdoor in the code, I effortlessly reverse-hacked Lin Bai's development system. Looking at the underlying logic he worshipped on the screen, I almost laughed out loud. This is supposed to revolutionize the era? This code is messier than what I'd write with my feet. I flexed my index finger, and my eyes turned cold. Since you lie playing with fire so much, let me add some fuel. In less than 3 minutes, I completely broke down and rebuilt the underlying logic of his prized system, and secretly implanted a fatal automatic liquidation program. As soon as his system ran for more than 10 seconds at the press conference, that 100 billion would flow like a bursting dam through the hidden channel I built into a secure Oatsao. The Oatsao was named AI Chi Fund, with the beneficiary, Lu Ruyan. Done. Wrap it up. I pressed the enter key and closed the laptop with satisfaction. The roles of hunter and prey had been perfectly reversed in that quiet keystroke. 3 days later, at the Jiang City International Convention Center, Lin Bai's new product launch was packed with people. The flashbulbs were blinding. It was streamed live across the internet, with over 5 million viewers online. To witness this drama firsthand, Lu Ruyan and I wore sunglasses and sat quietly in the back corner. On stage, Lin Bai, in a flashy white suit, held a microphone, full of swagger, as if he had the world at his feet. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, dear investors, today will be a historic moment in the new energy field. Lin Bai was shaking with excitement, his eyes occasionally glancing in our direction, with undisguised provocation. The infrastructure system Bai Xing Technology is about to release will completely eliminate those outdated, rusty relics. Det, I'm talking about the Lu Group. The audience erupted. The flashbulbs flashed even more frantically. 11io Lin. I heard you invested 100 billion in this project. Is that true? A reporter in the front row asked loudly. Of course. Lin Bai raised his chin arrogantly. For true technological innovation, a mere 10 billion is nothing. This will be the investment with the highest return. Lu Ruyan leaned on my shoulder and let out a cold snort. Idiot, you're dead meat, and you're still acting. Hubby, are you sure your plan can screw him over? Drop the can from can screw him over. I squeezed her hand, lowered my voice, and chuckled. Count down from 5. Get ready to watch the fireworks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The moment I counted to 1, on the massive holographic screen at the center of the stage, Lin Bai, with a fanatical look, pressed the start button. Boom. With a deafening simulated engine roar, the progress bar on the screen began loading rapidly. 10%, 50%, 90%. See that? This is the speed of a new era. Lin Bai spread his arms, ready to bask in the applause of the audience. But the progress bar got stuck at 99%. The next second, the originally dazzling system demo flickered violently, followed by a soft pop. The entire big screen instantly turned a glaring blood red, with countless green error codes cascading down like a waterfall, finally converging into a huge middle finger in the center. Next to it, a bold pinyin line was thoughtfully added. Bana, you've been scammed. Idiot, you've been scammed. The whole venue fell silent. The 5 million viewer live stream was instantly flooded with question marks. Well, what's going on? Tech department, are you guys dead? Lin Bai's arrogance froze instantly, as if his backbone had been ripped out. He frantically pounded the control panel, but what he didn't know was that the real hell was just beginning. Beep, beep, beep. The phone in Lin Bai's pocket suddenly vibrated like a death knell. He fumbled to answer it, even forgetting to turn off the microphone. Lin Bai, what the hell are you doing? The 10 billion funds just triggered an automatic liquidation. It's all gone, not a cent left. Get ready to be thrown into the river. The loan shark's furious roar, through the venue's top-tier sound system, echoed clearly in every corner. Clatter. The phone slipped from Lin Bai's trembling hand, hit the stage, and his legs gave way, sending him crashing to his knees. His once slicked back hair instantly disheveled. He looked like he had aged 10 years in an instant. It's over, all over. 10 billion. My money. Where did my money go? Lin Bai muttered in despair, his eyes fixed on the middle finger on the screen. Suddenly, he burst into manic laughter. Ha ha ha, it's all fake, all fake. It's you set me up. Lin Bai whipped his head around, his bloodshot eyes locked onto me and Lu Ruyan sitting in the back row. He scrambled to the camera, grabbed the lens, his face twisted like a demon. Dear netizens, don't be fooled. That man named Su Qing, he's not some lion son-in-law of the Lu family. Lin Bai screamed hoarsely at the live stream, spittle flying onto the lens. He's a complete fraud, a kept man, a fake young master. I'm going to expose his true face today. Ruin his reputation. Lin Bai, like a mad dog with its tail stepped on, pulled out a stack of pre-prepared documents from his pocket, and frantically waved them in front of the HD camera. Everyone, look, this is evidence of his forged diploma. These are the transaction records of him secretly transferring Lu family assets. And these, he flipped out several seamlessly photoshopped pictures, pointing at the blurry figures of me in a deal. Tears started falling on cue. He bribed the hackers. He destroyed my life's work. He's jealous of me. He wants to drain the last drop of blood from the Lu family. I have to say, this guy's acting skills, if he didn't win an Oscar, it would be a waste of his twisted face. The live stream comments, after a brief pause, exploded like a nuclear bomb. Holy crap, what a bombshell. This lion son-in-law is so disgusting. He's bleeding her dry. And Sister Lu is such a beautiful goddess. How did she end up with this leech? I demand a thorough investigation of Su Qing. Throw him in jail to sew clothes. Is Lu Ruyan blind? Kick this freeloader out already. This makes my blood boil. The screen was filled with insults, rushing toward me like a tidal wave. In the venue, the reporters, still in SOC, instantly swarmed like sharks smelling blood, pointing all their cameras at me and Lu Ruyan in the back. Mr. Su, is what Mr. Lin said true? Have you been using Miss Lu's feelings all along? What do you have to say to the public now? Facing this sudden public condemnation, I actually found it a bit amusing. Lin Bai really went all out to frame me, even using such low-quality fake transaction records to show off his IQ. I was just about to stand up and say something, when a Jade Lai hand firmly pressed down on my shoulder. Shut up. All of you, shut up. Lu Ruyan shot up from her seat, her stunning face now covered in frost, her gaze sharp as a drawn blade. She pulled me behind her, like a lioness protecting her cub, scanning the crowd. What kind of person my husband, Lu Ruyan's husband, is none of you outsiders' business. She pulled out from her Hermes bag a supreme black card symbolizing absolute wealth and slapped it onto the back of the chair beside her. She took out her phone and dialed a number. PR department, mobilize all of Lu Corp's liquid assets. Force the trending topics down. Whoever dares to curse Su Qing on Lai again, I'll make their company disappear from Zhongcheng by tomorrow. Sister Ruyan, are you crazy? What kind of lot potion did he give you? Lin Bai on stage was utterly distorted. For a useless waste, are you willing to sacrifice the Lu family's reputation? I said he's my husband. Who do you think you are? Lu Ruyan shot back coldly, just as the tension peaked, and public opinion was completely out of control. Rumble. A deafening roar suddenly came from outside the convention center. The sound grew louder. Even the crystal chandeliers on the ceiling began to shake violently, and the glass windows creaked under the strain. What's going on? Is it an earthquake? Panicked screams erupted from the crowd. I raised an eyebrow and looked out through the huge floor-to-ceiling windows. Wow! Above the sky, a full 10 heavy helicopters bearing purple gold emblems were hovering over the convention center square, blotting out the sun. The wind kicked up dust. The scene like a fully armed military force conducting an airborne operation. The door of the central helicopter slowly opened, the gangway lowered, and 2 rows of men in black suits and white gloves filed out, quickly lining up on both sides of the square, forcibly clearing a wide path through the crowd. Then, a silver-haired but spirited old lady, leaning on a dragon-headed cane inlaid with emeralds, surrounded by dozens of elite professionals in suits, walked in with overwhelming presence, her aura more commanding than an empress. Who dares to mess with my precious grandson? The old lady's powerful roar, amplified by the sound system, instantly filled the entire convention center. The whole venue fell silent. Everyone was stunned, speechless by this sudden overwhelming force. I looked at that familiar figure and couldn't help but twitch my lips. The identity I had hidden for 3 years was now completely impossible to cover up. Su Qing, who is this old lady? She looks so familiar. Lu Ruyan was stunned, instinctively gripping my hand tightly. Her, I sighed. Probably the person you mentioned before, the one who could let me inherit 100 billion fortune. As I spoke, the old lady had already led the group of top global lawyers ignoring all security guards, and forcefully barged into the center of the live stream. Her sharp gaze locked onto Lin Bai on stage, and she struck the floor heavily with her cane. What kind of clown are you, daring to spread rumors here, slandering the eldest grandson of the Su family in the capital? The Su family in the capital, a front-row financial reporter suddenly screamed, dropping her camera. That's the richest family in the capital, the Su clan that controls half the nation's economy. This is the old Madame Su. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole venue erupted in uproar. The live stream comments went blank for a full 3 seconds. Lin Bai was completely dumbfounded, his legs giving way, and he collapsed to the ground. His lips trembled. Impossible. Su Qing is just a poor country boy. How could he be the grandson of the richest man? You old hag are lying. How dare you? The lead lawyer behind the old lady snorted coldly, stepped forward, and slammed a thick stack of documents onto Lin Bai's face. Smack. The papers scattered everywhere. Mr. Lin Bai, open your dog eyes wide and see clearly. This is a DNI paternity report from the most authoritative domestic institution. And this one, the lawyer pointed to another red-stamped document, his voice firm, is personally signed by the old Madame Su, a gift deed of assets worth 500 billion, with the beneficiary being young Master Su Qing. In that second, public opinion on Lai experienced an epic reversal. The live stream comments exploded instantly. Those netizens who had just been cursing me for being a kept man were now typing faster than anyone. Holy crap, holy crap, holy crap, a 500 billion asset gift deed. What kind of novel protagonist is this coming to life? So he wasn't a kept man, he was a billionaire slumming it. Hubby. Su Qing, hubby. My national husband. Give me a hug. Lu Ruyan is the real winner, Oku. Her taste is absolutely incredible. Lin Bai looked at the scattered documents, at the one-sided comments in the live stream, his eyes nearly popping out. The online outrage he had painstakingly stirred up had become the strongest global announcement of my inheritance of 100 billion fortune. No, this isn't real. I'm the protagonist. I'm the one chosen by heaven. Lin Bai's sanity completely shattered at that moment. Jealousy and madness intertwined in his eyes, turning into pure destruction. Since I can't have it, then none of you will have it easy. He let out a beastly roar, leaped up from the ground, and ripped open his white suit jacket. The whole venue instantly erupted in piercing screams. Around his waist, there was clearly a homemade bomb wrapped in red wires. Su Qing, Lu Ruyan, you both go to hell. Lin Bai's face twisted, and he pressed the detonator in his hand without hesitation, charging Lai a madman toward Lu Ruyan. Lin Bai, Lai a cornered, rabid beast, his eyes bloodshot, pressed the detonator without a second thought. The homemade bomb wrapped in red and blue wires around him flashed a chilling red light of death under the spotlights. The front row reporters let out heart-wrenching screams. Some scrambled to escape, others collapsed in fear. Even my billionaire grandmother, who had seen it all, was surrounded by bodyguards shouting in alarm. In that critical moment, I didn't hesitate. Ruyan, watch out. I threw out my arms, pulled the stunned Lu Ruyan close, and pressed her firmly beneath me. Without a second thought, I used my broad back to block the direction Lin Bai was charging. At that moment, the air seemed to freeze. Lu Ruyan's beautiful peach blossom eyes widened instantly. My resolute face reflected in her pupils. Su Qing, no, she let out a desperate cry, her hands gripping my shirt tightly, tears streaming down her face. The detonator's electronic beep sounded eerily in the silent venue, followed by a muffled thud. There was no deafening explosion, no bone-shattering shockwave, no gruesome scene of blood and flesh. Instead, a faint floral scent filled the air. Lu Ruyan and I held each other tightly, eyes closed, waiting for 3 seconds. Other than a gentle breeze brushing my back, nothing happened. I pretended to open my eyes in confusion. What is this? An incredulous cry came from the crowd. Lu Ruyan, her lashes trembling, opened her eyes, her gaze passing over my shoulder, and she froze completely. What filled the air wasn't deadly shrapnel and flames, but a torrent of red rose petals falling like rain. Large and small, vividly red rose petals, with the faint blast of air, drifted down across the entire venue, landing on the heads of the stunned crowd, and on me and Lu Ruyan. The whole convention center instantly became a romantic sea of red. What's going on? Where's my bomb? Where's my C4? Lin Bai missed his target, and fell awkwardly into the pile of petals. He frantically patted the bomb device, strapped tightly around his waist, screaming hysterically, why are there petals? Why? I let go of Lu Ruyan, stood up slowly, and casually brushed a rose petal off my shoulder. Looking at Lin Bai's dumbfounded expression, I couldn't help but laugh. Mr. Lin, you think buying some ammonium nitrate and detonators on the dark web can destroy the world? I looked down at him, my eyes full of mockery. Don't you know the internet is all real name now? Buying dangerous materials with an OTSAL linked to your own ID? Do you really think the police and hackers are idiots? Actually, 3 days ago, when I hacked into his computer as Zero, I casually checked his browsing history. After finding out he bought flammable materials, I snuck into his luxury apartment a day early. Not only did I replace all his painstakingly made explosives with compressed flower boards, but I also modified the detonator into a wedding confetti cannon mode. You knew all along. You tampered with it. Lin Bai pointed at me, his finger trembling like a plucked string. Boom. Just then, the floor-to-ceiling windows around the convention center shattered simultaneously, and a dozen fully armed SWAT officers descended like gods, sliding into the venue on ropes. Their dark gun muzzles instantly locked onto Lin Bai on the ground. Freeze! Police! Hands on your head, get down. The SWAT team leader, with a clean takedown, pinned Lin Bai to the pedal-covered floor. Click! The cold handcuffs finally ended his absurd farce. Let me go. I'm the protagonist. I'm the chosen one. Su Qing, you useless piece of trash. You set me up. Lin Bai, pinned to the ground, his face squashed out of shape, continued to roar like a madman. Protagonist? You're at best a comedian. I sneered, turned to the stunned live stream camera, and said, Dear netizens, see clearly now? This is the innocent entrepreneur you were just feeling sorry for. A terrorist who wanted to take hundreds of people down with him. The comments, after a 10-second pause, exploded completely, crashing the SOVO. Holy crap, what a godly twist. Scared the hell out of me, turning a bomb into rose petals. Su Qing is an absolute legend. Lin Bai just did a backflip into the criminal code. He'll be sewing clothes in prison until his machine smokes. First, a badass grandma backing him up, then a husband with a rain of flowers. Ultimate protection for Lu Ruyan. She must have saved the galaxy in her past life. I didn't bother with Lin by being dragged away like a dead dog. I turned around, and amidst the dazzling rain of red roses, walked toward Lu Ruyan, still sitting on the ground. She looked up, her beautiful face still streaked with tears of SOC and emotion. I bent down and gently wiped the tears from her eyes. In this incredibly romantic atmosphere, I gazed deeply into her eyes. Honey, I scared you. I told you, as long as I'm here, I'll never let anyone hurt you. Not even a little. I helped her up, my voice low and gentle. Hubby, Lu Ruyan completely broke down, like a wronged little girl, and buried her face in my chest, hugging me tightly, sobbing uncontrollably. I thought I was going to lose you again. Why did you have to stand in front of me? What would I do if you died? Silly, I'm fine, aren't I? I gently patted her back, feeling her trembling. My billionaire grandmother, watching from nearby, was beaming from ear to ear. She tapped her cane on the floor. Good. Worthy of being the man of my Su family. Ruyan, this granddaughter-in-law, I approve. The whole venue erupted in thunderous applause, everyone cheering for this romantic survival. The atmosphere was at its peak. Lu Ruyan, her eyes full of emotion, slightly stood on her tiptoes, as if she wanted to give me a passionate kiss, in front of everyone. But just as her lips were about to touch mine, the tenderness on my face instantly faded, my eyes turning incredibly clear and calm. I reached out and held her shoulders, gently but firmly pushing her away from my embrace. Su Qing, Lu Ruyan was stunned, looking at me in confusion. Under the puzzled gaze of the entire venue, I slowly straightened my suit collar, then reached into my inner pocket. The next second, I pulled out a neatly folded A4 paper, and handed it to her. At the top of the paper, 5 bold black characters were printed. Divorce agreement. The show is over. Lin Bai is gone. Lu Corp's crisis is resolved. I looked at her instantly pale face, my tone flat and emotionless. So, Ms. Lu Ruyan, please sign this. Let's get a divorce. Divorce? Lu Ruyan's voice trembled like an autumn leaf in the wind. She stared at the paper in my hand, those 5 bold characters like 5 knives, stabbing into her eyes. Su Qing, what did you say? She stepped back in disbelief, her high heels on the rose petals, almost losing her balance. The whole venue fell silent. The convention center, which had been boiling over, was now so quiet you could hear a pin drop. The live stream comments seemed frozen, with an eerie blank. I said, sign the papers. We're getting a divorce. I forced down the ache in my heart, trying to make my voice sound cold and ruthless, even pushing the agreement forward a bit. Lu Ruyan didn't take it. Tears instantly streamed down her face like broken pearls. Her cheeks, flushed with emotion just moments ago, were now deathly pale. Why? She bit her bloodless lower lip, her voice thick with tears and despair. Is it because you've now regained your status as the true heir of the capital's richest family, and you think I, a nearly bankrupt small city 11IO, am no longer worthy of you? She smiled bitterly, tears rolling down her cheeks, falling onto the red petals. Yeah, in the last life, you gave up 100 billion fortune for me. In this life, you've finally gotten back everything that's yours. I really can't reach your level anymore. Hearing the words last life, my heart clenched. This silly woman, even at this moment, was still thinking she wasn't good enough for me. You brat, have you lost your mind? Before I could speak, my grandmother's dragon-headed cane swung through the air and smacked hard against my shin. The old lady was fuming. How did my Su family produce such an ungrateful wretch? Ruyan is such a good girl. If you dare to abandon her, this old woman will break your legs today and kick you out of the family. Yeah, this twist is way too scummy. So what if he's a billionaire? Can a billionaire just play with people's feelings? The surrounding reporters came to their senses and immediately started whispering, the tide of opinion, threatening to turn again. I looked at Lu Ruyan, teetering on the edge, her expression as if her whole world had collapsed. In the end, I couldn't bring myself to take this prank all the way. I sighed helplessly. Grandma, please don't break my legs just yet. Keep these legs. I still need them to kneel on a keyboard for my wife. I turned to Lu Ruyan, her face streaked with tears, my eyes instantly melting into a pool of tender warmth. Honey, take a closer look at what's underneath this agreement. Lu Ruyan, her eyes blurred with tears, looked down. I shifted my fingers, revealing an old, yellow document underneath the divorce agreement. It was the Blue family lion's son-in-law code of conduct and prenuptial agreement. I was forced to sign 3 years ago when I married into the Lu family. Under Lu Ruyan's bewildered gaze, I grabbed both documents, and in front of the live stream camera watched by hundreds of millions, I tore it without hesitation. A crisp tearing sound, amplified by the microphone, echoed through the entire convention center. I tossed the shredded paper into the air. White flakes, like the first snow of winter, drifted down gently, intertwined with the red rose petals on the floor. It was breathtakingly beautiful. Su Qing, what are you doing? Lu Ruyan was completely stunned. Tears still clung to her eyelashes, forgetting to fall. Of course, I'm resigning as the lion's son-in-law of the Lu family. This career has no future. I chuckled lightly. Under the gaze of thousands of eyes and countless HD cameras, I stepped back half a step, then dropped to one knee and slid. The whole audience gasped. The trillion-yuan heir of the capital's richest family knelt publicly, like a magician. From the inner pocket closest to my heart, I pulled out an exquisite dark green velvet box. With a click, the box opened. A diamond, the size of a pigeon egg, cut to perfection, a rare pink gem. Under the spotlight of the venue, reflected a dazzling, mesmerizing light. This represents the Su family of the capital, the heirloom of supreme power and matriarch status. City of Lop. Lu Ruyan covered her mouth, letting out an incredulous gasp. The tears that had just receded surged again, but this time from extreme joy and emotion. Ruyan, these 3 years, you taught me what it means to stand by me. I looked up, gazing at her intently. Those beautiful peach blossom eyes. My voice, through the microphone, reached every corner of the world. But I've always had a regret. 3 years ago, our wedding had no ring, no blessings, not even a proper wedding photo, because I was just a shameful lion's son-in-law. I took a deep breath and held the pink diamond high. But now, it's different. The identity of a lion's son-in-law doesn't deserve your kindness. Even less does it deserve your deep affection. When I had nothing, and you still supported me with the whole Lu family. So today, I tore up this humiliating contract. Now, sitting before you is no longer a kept man, Su Qing. I paused, a wild and unrestrained smile curling at the corner of my mouth. Now, I am the sole heir of the Su family, the richest in the capital. Officially proposing to him is Lu Ruyan, president of the Jiangcheng Lu Group. Lu Ruyan, will you marry me? Let me use this trillion-yuan fortune to legitimately spoil you? The moment the words fell, the whole world seemed to fall silent. After a brief stillness, the Lai Shi-trim comments exploded with devastating force. Kill me, let this be entertainment. What the hell, trillion-yuan fortune to spoil? Who wrote this line? It's so cheesy. 1 second, a divorce agreement. The next, a pink diamond proposal. Master Su, you sure know how to play with the internet's heartbeats. Mom's asking why I'm kneeling while watching this Lai Shi-trim. This is the ultimate romance of a true alpha. Lu Ruyan looked at me, kneeling on one knee before her, and hearing the word spoil, she finally laughed through her tears. She laughed and cried at the same time, tears falling like broken pearls, yet she was so beautiful it was hard to look away. You jerk, you scared me to death. Do you know I was just thinking of jumping off a building? She scolded playfully, but her voice was incredibly soft. So, will you? I held up the ring, smiling, and urged, I will. I'll take this trillion-yuan fortune under my wing. Lu Ruyan nodded heavily. Without hesitation, she extended her slender, fair hand. I carefully slipped the heavy, heirloom pink diamond onto her ring finger. It fit perfectly, as if the ring was born to wait for her finger. As soon as the ring was on, Lu Ruyan could no longer contain her excitement. She bent down suddenly, cupped my face in her hands, with the scent of roses and salty tears, and kissed me fiercely on the lips. The whole venue erupted in deafening screams and cheers. Thunderous applause that wouldn't stop, Ha ha ha. Grandma Sue, the richest matriarch, was grinning from ear to ear, stomping her cane on the floor with a loud thud. That's my grandson's wife from the Sue family. Bold enough. Today, this old lady, will cover everyone's red envelopes. I wrapped my arm around Lu Ruyan's slender waist and stood up, taking control and deepening the kiss. Amidst the swirling red rose petals, under the frantic flashing of countless camera lights, in the witness of a trillion-yuan fortune, we melted all the regrets and misplaced affections of past and present lives into this ultimate, sweet kiss. Bang! In the night sky outside the convention center, the Sue family's top-tier fireworks shot up, blooming into a sky full of stars. At the same time, the back end of major Li 11 trim platforms broadcasting this century proposal could no longer withstand the terrifying barrage of tens of millions of comments per second. The servers let out a helpless groan and completely crashed. All screens froze forever at that moment, frozen in the rain of flowers and brilliant fireworks. The girl held tightly in the arms of the trillion-yuan richest man, smiling brighter